And bonjour. Bonjour, Darko.
Bonjour, Bruno.
The Darko and Bruno show, we talk about AI, we talk about biostat. Today we're going to talk about AI mostly. And it's a little bit of a different one because I'm in transit. I'm actually on my way to Newark Airport from Manhattan, catching an earlier flight to sunny California. Now, here, it's not sunny here on the East Coast. As you know, it's been cold. There's still a lot of snow in the streets of New York. So I'm eager to be back. And I'm very happy because I'm catching an earlier flight that I didn't know I could catch. So this is why we might abbreviate. As soon as I arrive at New York Airport, I'll jump of the Uber to get to my flight. But I think we have time to still talk about today's topic, which is going to be broad. It's going to be trends or events in AI and healthcare. And I'll give you the microphone in a second to give your thoughts about what you've read or what has transpired recently at the intersection of AI and healthcare. But I will first make a comment. I was at a healthcare AI conference organized by a friend of mine at Columbia University. Very well organized, by the way. They did it for 22 years in a row. And I was listening to a panel. There was then there was a new VP at Open Evidence. At Open Evidence. So, by the way, listeners, if you have questions for me or for us, go ahead, post, ask us questions. So first, Open Evidence is doing very, very well. Up to date, which was supposed to be Open Evidence, is not doing so well. They're getting, I think, killed. They're like the TAC compared with Codex or compared with the coding platform. They used to, so for those of you who don't know, in the world of medical clinical decisions, today has been the dominant player. They have little articles, very convenient articles for doctors to a little bit the cliff notes of what to do if you're a doctor. Dominant, everybody uses them until a few months ago, where Open Evidence came and said, we're free. Up to date is a publication from a publisher. They have to charge. Okay, so Open Evidence say we're free, and it's essentially Perplexity or ChatGPT, but it's compliant in terms of patient privacy, and it answers questions, and it doesn't hallucinate or limit it. I don't think it hallucinates very much because it used all of the evidences from the publishers. Okay, so they are now at 21 million monthly user or query. Now, it doesn't sound that high in the perspective of ChatGPT, and because it's a very small group. Only doctors can use them. Actually, only doctors in the US can use them. So my point here, in my view, Open Evidence already won that market. Up to date is dead, and there's no point for anybody else, whether it's LARVOL or someone else, to compete, or Oncoscope, another company we know of, to compete in the textual-based clinical decision support market. So let me stop there and see if you have anything to add or questions on your side, and then we can move to other topics that you might have, Darko.
Well, I have a comment that this is actually very interesting to me. You know, what you just said is a novelty to me in terms of how quickly things have changed there with Open Evidence. And I mean, I've seen that AI in healthcare is gaining traction. You know, there's interest in OpenAI, Anthropic, all these big players, and you know, just hearing that Open Evidence is now becoming so important in this field, it kind of makes sense. So just to comment that, you know, I think this is a very important step towards creating better decision support for researchers and doctors, especially in oncology. So yes, we are seeing some very quick moves. The moves that are so quick that sometimes we are not even aware of them as they're happening. And there are other fields where we're seeing this. So what we are seeing now with Claude
Well,
Opus for. Sorry,
yeah.
please go.
Oh yes, no, that's right. Claude, I mean, all of them are building now a healthcare vertical, right?
Yes, yes. All of them see big interest there, and healthcare as a field of research has been interesting for CEOs of AI companies from the start. We've seen comments from Demis Kassabis, we've seen comments from Sam Altman, from Elon Musk, from other CEOs of large AI companies about AI in healthcare all the time. Whether it's going to be used to help just discover new drugs, understand disease better, tackle aging. There's so many fields that pretty much all of these CEOs have been showing interest from the start. So it's not a surprise that their companies are going in that direction.
So it's going to be interesting to see how open evidence can fight a frontier model that be 10 times smarter, 100 times smarter. Open evidence depends on them and also depends on the publishers. So I'm taking back a little bit what I said, that open evidence has won. It's not in the bag. But by the way, before we continue on that topic, how is Bitcoin doing? Can you check? I'm getting Bitcoin anxiety. So it was at 130,000. Then it was at 62. Okay, tell me, where is it? Still in the 60s or did it go to the 50s?
It's in the it's around 70 right now, so
Okay,
it
all
recovered
right,
a
it's
little
back a
bit.
little bit. All right.
But
It was at 60.
yesterday was bad for Bitcoin, but
Okay. All right.
luckily for everyone in the crypto, now it's
Well,
starting
and
to recover.
and not just for the crypto people, but even people in tech in general. I mean, it's been a bloodbath. So if you're out there and you're listening and you're an investor or a trader and you lost your shirt a little bit, keep in mind that it always comes back. All right, don't get too sad. And as they say, if you don't sell, it's not a real loss yet, right? So all right. So back to open evidence. So I take back what I said. They haven't won yet because if the model or in the big four models, all right, ChatGPT, Gemini, Anthropic, and Grok. I put them more or less in my parameter. So the one would argue that Gemini is the best now. Now it should be actually Gemini, ChatGPT, Anthropic, and Grok. And we'll have to see if Llama comes back to the fight or not, right? And I expect, as we said before, I expect that Grok to take market share, but we'll have to see. So if any of these models decide to be really, really serious about healthcare, and they seem to be, then how will open evidence fight them? Right? How will they leave? Because arguably, let's say Gemini doesn't need open evidence to go to doctors. I mean, the doctors, the fact is that, yes, open evidence will have an install base, 21 million existing users. Okay, fine. But I mean, I assume that open evidence relies on the models, except if, as some people are saying, and I'd like your view on that, except if the models becomes a commodity. In other words, if ChatGPT says, oh, open evidence, you cannot use ChatGPT, well, they're going to use Gemini, Grok, or even Llama, or Claude. So I don't know anymore. I changed my mind 3 times in that conversation, whether OpenAI won or not. What do you think?
Well, I think going back to one of the podcasts that we had, I think at the end of the
Oh,
2025, where we
hey, Darko,
predicted.
can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me? I can hear you, but I'm not sure if
My
you can hear me,
connection might
Bruno.
be a little spotty.
Yeah.
I don't know
Okay,
if you can hear me.
I can.
You can
I
hear
can.
me. I cannot
Shakir,
hear you.
Shakir,
Shahir, our producer, can tell you at
yeah.
least, because I cannot hear him probably either, whether or not people can hear me. If not, I can do the image, you can do the sound for the rest of the podcast.
Okay, okay. So Shakir, whose audio can you hear?
Okay. We're having a slight bit of technical difficulty, but this basically means, Darko, that you can still make your point and conclude the episode. I think that would make perfect sense. And it was a really interesting topic, and it was great listening to you both in the background. But yeah, over to you for the closing part.
Okay, so Bruno already said some interesting things about the AI race, and I will just conclude the podcast. So, what we have been seeing in the past few weeks, virtually, have been developments that are changing everything in the world of AI. So, at the end of the last year, me and Bruno made a prediction that 4 companies and 4 models will be leading the race. So OpenAI, Grok, Anthropic, and Gemini. And I think that we were right. So right now, those 4 companies with their models are leading the race. But one interesting development has occurred in the past several days, I think, which is the announcement of Claude 4.6 Opus. And it's actually the first time that we are seeing a model that is actually able to replace so many things that humans do with their software. So I think one of the developments, one of the changes in dynamic right now is that Claude is accelerating, Anthropic is accelerating, and maybe very, very close to the pole position in this moment, I would say. Actually, there is a lot of fear from what I can hear
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of companies that Claude
From
will
Claude.
soon, yes, Claude will soon be
I
able to do so many
mm.
things. Yes.
Agreed. That's a very valid point. And Darko, there's a lot of people putting a lot of weight into Claude all of a sudden, which was which might not have been the case. Although people have been closely aligned, like yourself, and of course, perfectly, know the value of Claude and the depth of their tech as well. So it's a great point. Bruno, I see that you're back. Would you like
I'm
to
back and I
make
can hear you.
end? Perfect.
Uh, well, I appreciate what all of you said. I officially don't know anymore whether whether the frontier models will be commoditized or not. It's amazed me that they would have been able to raise so much money, and they still are, if they were to be commoditized. So the frontier model have to be where the value is. I don't understand how the wrappers or the layers between these frontier models and the end users could take so much power. So going back to open evidence, so I'm skeptical that they could really develop such a position in the marketplace, because what will prevent Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, or Grok or Llama to develop their own open evidence? So I don't understand.
I think
Um,
that's a very good point. That's a very good point.
it's, the image is like, where does a 500-pound gorilla sit? Wherever he wants. So the 500-pound gorilla arguably are the frontier models. That's where the money shows us. So if they decide to go after healthcare, and why wouldn't they? Do they really need open evidence? It's a little bit like if you own the operating system and you want to develop a spreadsheet product, it's very hard to compete against Microsoft. If you're a frontier model and you want to develop a healthcare application, you do whatever you want. And the example of Claude is a good example. Claude, Sonnet, it's Sonnet, right? Sonnet 4.6. They decide to develop a legal application. All of the legal AI company are out of business, it seems. No?
I think that's straight on point. The 4.6 model that they rolled out right now can do 30 to 40% more things that previously we thought, well, they could not be done by a model. Right now, there are so many things that it can do, basically doing the same thing that many startups are doing for a living. Let's use that term, right? So I think this is showing us, I think, initial direction, which is aligned with what you said about open evidence. Yes, open evidence currently can have a very strong position in the market, but on the long term, it's highly unlikely that these big companies will not want AI in healthcare for themselves. And I think on the long term, the models will be starting to do things that we were not probably even expecting just a few months ago. We're seeing that now, I think.
It's going to be fascinating. We live in a sci-fi movie. It's incredible. How do we take these things for granted? It's incredible. It's incredible at the technology level, and it's incredible at the business level. It's a movie.
Yes,
we live in a freaking movie.
I mean, it has been here for a while, so we kind of got used to these changes. But just today, I was actually doing a task that would require me previously to go to a web app, register, and use an app of some startup. But I just went to Claude 4.6 and basically completed that task completely in Claude 4.6. So it's virtually feeling like a sci-fi movie, right? Very soon, majority of the things that we actually do and use other software will probably be able to do using Claude 4.6 or some other model that will also be rolled out soon.
So we get a wrap up here, not only because we finished that great topic, but also because I just arrived at Newark Airport. And so Darko, Shahir, I thank you. I would like to say a goodbye, and we'll see you next week.
Oh, thank you so much, Bruno. Au revoir and happy travels.
Thank you.